Hello, everybody. How are you? Here I am again, Fabi from Fabi English. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Fabi. I'm an English teacher and I help people get the score they need on the IELTS test and do the test only once. All right. So if you're interested in the IELTS test, want to know stuff about the IELTS test, stick around. Okay. So if you'd like to tell me where you are watching this from, I just absolutely love to know where you guys are watching this from. All right. Okay. So just let me know. Now, today we will talk about vocabulary. Yeah. Okay. So, vocabulary, one of the most important things in your IELTS journey. Yeah. So, vocabulary. Does anyone struggle with vocabulary? I was speaking to some students yesterday, and they were saying that it's quite often that happens. Okay, people saying that I know the words, but I don't remember when I need them. And in our context here today, we'll be talking about the words for when you're doing the test. Okay, so we're going to talk about the importance and the connection of the vocabulary and the IELTS test. We all know we have to improve. We all know, but how? Why? All right, that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, if you have any questions, just pop the questions in. Okay, if I don't get to your questions or comments straight away, I'll get to it at the end. All right, let's get started. Okay, so um, vocabulary is important in every single part of the IELTS test. So it doesn't matter if you are talking about listening, speaking, writing, reading. It doesn't matter. We need vocabulary in for all the parts of the test. All right, all the parts of the test, right? Sorry. And lots of people, they focus on grammar. They go, oh, my grammar, my grammar, my grammar. And they forget that actually vocabulary is just as important. Okay. And remember, when it comes to the IELTS test, okay. So before I get into it, let's just think about two different things, right? For the IELTS test, we have 4 skills. I have listening, reading, speaking, and writing. But we have 4, but we can divide them into 2. We can have listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Does anybody know why? Why we should divide these 2? Does anybody know? Okay, so we should divide these 2 because when it comes to reading and listening, they are what we call receptive skills. When we are understanding things, okay? So if we think about listening and reading, you just have to look at it, listen to it, and understand. However, when it comes to speaking and writing, we have to do something, we have to produce, okay? All right, vocabulary is important for all of them, but the way we look at it's a little bit different. And that's important for you guys to know before we start. Okay. So when we think about the importance, okay, one of the biggest importance of vocabulary for the IELTS test is in listening and speaking. Why? Well, let's talk about writing. Sorry, listening and speaking. Sorry, writing and speaking. Sorry, guys, we're talking about the productive skills. So when we think about writing, okay, do you know how the examiner is going to check your writing? The examiner is going to look for 4 things. And one of these things is vocabulary. They call it lexical resource, but it's vocabulary. Okay. So when you're doing your writing, the examiner will check 4 things. And one of these things is vocabulary. That's why we had to improve our vocabulary for the IELTS test. When we think about speaking, same thing. The examiner will check 4 things. One of these things is vocabulary. Okay, that's why some of my students, they were telling me recently, they said, "Oh, Fabi, I know the words, but I can't use them," because they know they need it. All right, so that's the first thing I want you guys to start thinking about. You need it. Okay, guys, and that's why I'm here today, to help you with that, to give you information so you can be more informed. All right, cool. So let's go. So let's think about, so I'm going to go over all the skills. I'm going to talk about listening, writing, speaking, reading, all of them. Okay, let's think about speaking, for example. Okay, when it comes to your speaking and vocabulary, okay, in addition to that section in the speaking part where the examiner will pay attention, will check your vocabulary, the examiner will also check your fluency. Sorry, yeah, coherence. Let's think about coherence, okay? Fluency, not so much coherence, more coherence, right? And if you're using simple words to make your cohesion, to connect your ideas, okay, you might get a lower score. Okay, might get a lower score. However, if, for example, instead of very happy, you say ecstatic, you think about that? What would be the difference? Very happy, like a 5. Ecstatic, woo, 6. Did you use it correctly? Yes, 7. Okay. So we start thinking about this different types of vocabulary, different types of words. Okay. For example, if we think about writing, for example. Okay. So I have a question here. Fabi, what if in writing you write what they ask, the examiner understands your writing and what you write, what you're trying to say, but you use simple words? What score can you get? Tomorrow's my exam. Whoa, tomorrow. Oh my God. So, Manu, okay, so, and you are a 6. Guys, if you use simple words, you would be about a 6, Manu. I don't know what score you need. Okay, so usually, but again, I'd have to see your writing to know, Manu. Okay, guys. So Manu is asking. So I'm just going to read her question again. So, Fabi, what if in writing you write what they ask? The examiner understands your writing and what you're trying to say, but you use simple words. What score can you get? Yeah. So, because just think about it, you would be just doing what they asked. Okay. So, if you do what they ask, you're a 6. Okay, guys. But then, if you manage to show good English, few mistakes, you can get to a 6.5, even a 7. Okay, Manu, that would be my opinion, but I'll have to see your writing to actually tell you what score you would be. Okay. Yes, guys, that's why in my course, my students, they do writing every week. Okay. And every time they do the writing, they post in they either send it to me or they post in the community and I give them some feedback. Okay, because this is Manu's question is a question, Manu. It is a question that you shouldn't have the day before the test. Okay. I'm not angry at you, but just guys, yeah. So this is the type of thing you should know well in advance. Okay, Manu. I don't know if I can help you that much because your test is tomorrow. Okay, but from my experience, that's what it would look like. Okay. All right. I hope I helped. But your test is tomorrow. Ah. All right, Manu. Cool. All right. So, guys, so yeah, this was a very good question, actually. Very good question. And yes, but you should go into the test knowing where you are. Okay, guys, knowing exactly where you are and knowing what you need. I don't know if Manu had some feedback on her writing, but that's something that you should know in advance. All right. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna talk about writing now. Good topic, huh? Good question to introduce us to the writing. So, guys, when it comes to the writing, again, the examiner look at 4 different things, and one of these things is Vocabulary. They say lexical resource, but it's vocabulary. Okay, guys, it's vocabulary. Okay, so, and again, similar to what Manu just asked, they are going to check the words you're using. And are you using them correctly? Because there's a big difference. Okay, so let's say that Manu tries to use some fancy words, okay, but she doesn't succeed. Okay, like she said, okay, so it's simple words, nothing very academic, probably about a 6. Okay, and then she tries to use some complicated words, but she makes a few mistakes. Okay, she makes a few mistakes, so she'll probably get a 6.5. But if she manages to use good words very well, then she can be a 7. Okay, so that's one of the things with writing. Okay, second thing is examiners, they have some kind of expectations. Okay, so let's say if the topic is transport, okay, maybe how people go to work, they might be expecting some kind of words. Let's say the topic is environment, they might expect some kind of words, some specific words for that topic. And when you manage to give that to the examiner, write it properly, then you're likely to get a higher score too. All right. So, because it's just, when I'm talking about the environment, I'm probably going to talk about global warming, CO2. If I'm going to talk about transport, how people go to work, commuting. Okay. So, these kinds of words. Okay. So, the examiner is looking for that too. So, in addition to using good vocabulary, something else you can do is to think about it. Okay. This is a common topic on the IELTS test. And then I have to know some of these words. That's important too. Okay, so Manu says something, ha ha ha. I mean, I think I have good vocabulary, but I prefer to write some simple words because maybe in that moment I'm going to be nervous and I prefer to stay in the safe zone and don't make mistakes. Okay, Manu, did you get feedback on your writing? That's my first question. Okay, did you get some feedback on your writing or this is just your perception? Okay, so okay, I'm going to tell you, Manu, how I work with my students. Okay. So with my students, we start simple, which I think is completely fine, especially for people who are struggling to write. So I know that sometimes my students, when they are struggling to write, is because they want to say something that's perfect. Okay. So what I do with them, they start simple, just like you said. But then it's my job to read their simple stuff and help them make it better so they become more confident and they are not scared on the day of the test and they don't stay on the safe zone. To me, okay, to me, there is a difference between simple, trying to use more academic words, and succeeding in using academic words. Okay, there's 3 different things, in my personal opinion, and from what I've spoken to some examiners. Okay, guys, as you know, I'm not an examiner because if I decided to become an examiner, I couldn't be here right now with you guys. Because if I'm an examiner, I can't be on the internet talking to you. So that's why I'm not an examiner, even though I have been invited to be one a few times. Oh, you should be an examiner, Fabi. Oh, why don't you? I get emails say, hey, would you like to be an examiner? And I say no, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to be here with you guys. But I have lots of friends who are examiners. So I ask them all the questions. And guys, they can't help you on the day of the exam there. They can tell you, hey, do it again. They can't do that. But what they can do is they can talk to me. They can talk to me outside of the context and they tell me everything. And every time you guys have a question, I ask them too. All right. So there is a difference. Okay. There is a big difference. Okay. Between using something, using it correctly, and then using it properly. Okay. There is a difference. So my recommendation would be knowing what you're doing. That's why practicing is so important. So let's say my student has something very simple. I will say, oh, here you could say this, 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 this. Then they go, okay, now I know what I can do. And then maybe the next time they try, they will make some mistakes. They might make some mistakes. And I'll be like, okay, but because you're trying, I know you know, but you're not succeeding. You're not a 7 yet, but you're a 6.5. And that's why so many people get stuck at a 6.5. Okay, because it's hard for you sometimes to be very accurate, but you're trying. Did that make sense, Manu? But yeah, just my question is, did you get feedback on your writing? Or this is just something that you are that you are thinking? Yeah. But staying in the safe zone, if you need a 6, maybe you could stay in the safe zone. Okay, but if you need a higher score, no. And that's why I'm here today, because most people, they need higher scores. Canada and Australia, they are expecting you guys to have higher scores. Okay, guys, they are expecting you to have higher scores. So think about that. Okay, Manu, let me know if I helped. All right, cool. So we're talking about writing. Now, listening. Listening. Yeah. So, guys, yeah. So when it comes to listening, also knowing vocabulary will you'll be more accurate, way more accurate, and also that will help you with your spelling too. Because you listen, you'll be able to answer things correctly. Okay, and when we think about vocabulary, we think about the word. Okay, we think about the spelling of the word, we think about the type of word, we think about everything. All right, so when it comes to listening and reading, guys, especially if you're going to do the academic IELTS, but not only, because as you know, as you probably know already, okay, even the general part of the IELTS test, the last part of the test is academic. So even if you're going to do IELTS general, you should spend some time studying some academic words, because the last part of the test is academic. All right, last part of the test is academic. So be very careful with that. And that's what's stopping most people from getting a high score in reading. And also, some people can't finish because they focus on all those words that they don't know. All right. So again, guys, you don't have to know everything, but you have to have an idea. All right, or be able to read and guess quickly. And it's all about strategies. All about strategies. Okay, all about strategies. Okay, so when we think about speaking, writing, listening, reading, okay, that's vocabulary. Manu said something here. Yes, makes sense. I'm just studying by myself and using AI, okay, artificial, not IA, AI. I was talking to some students this week. Oh my God, guys, not IA, AI, artificial intelligence, okay, AI, to check my writing and give me feedback. Oh my God. Who is using ChatGPT to get feedback? Who is using? I was talking to my team about that yesterday. Manu, you're not the only person using AI to get feedback. And guys, you see, so Manu has been using AI, but she's still not sure. So is it good? Yeah, it can help you, but it's not gonna solve your problems. It's not going to solve your problems, guys. So I have used ChatGPT myself to check a few things. Okay. And when I ask ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, what score would you give to this IELTS writing? I know the score because I know I'm an expert, right? And usually it gives me a similar score. So, I think this is a 7. ChatGPT says it's a 7. I was like, oh, well done, ChatGPT. But can you tell me how this can be improved to an 8? And then the feedback is not very good. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. And then sometimes I have seen one that I was like, this is a 6. And I asked ChatGPT. ChatGPT gave it a 7. And I was like, no way. All right. So can you use it? Yes, you can. Can you trust it? Not really. Not really, guys. Not really. Okay. So, Manu, you're a good example. Okay, guys. So, it's a tool, is not your solution. To me, again, you should find a professional. Okay. You should find an expert, IELTS expert. Some general English teachers, they might not be able to tell you exactly what is an IELTS writing. Okay, so be careful with that too, because maybe some people will just focus on your English but forget about coherence and cohesion, task achievement, and task response. So be careful with that. All right. So, yes, ChatGPT can be used. Yes. Can you use only ChatGPT? No. No. Okay, because you need someone, guys. You need someone to have a look at it for you and tell you. And then again, I checked, and because I know the feedback that you guys need, I tried to get that from ChatGPT, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. Okay. So can you use it? Yes, but that shouldn't be the only thing you guys are using, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen. Okay. And it was funny. My partner was helping me the other day, and then we found a writing online. And he said, "Oh, I found this one online. They said it's a 9. It's perfect." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then we tried. I said, "No, no, I think it's an 8." And then ChatGPT said it was an 8. Like, huh, ChatGPT agrees with me. But then I was like, "Okay, ChatGPT, how can this be a 9?" And then it said some really, and it didn't make sense. The recommendation they gave didn't make sense. And I was like, that's not something that would help people. So be very careful. Okay, guys, can you use it? Yes, but it shouldn't be the only thing you're using. Okay, Manu? But your test is tomorrow. Do the test, Manu. Let me know your score. Let me know if you succeeded. Okay, and you didn't tell me the score you need. Can you tell me the score you need? And if it's academic or general, just so I know. I love to know, guys. I always ask. Thank you, Manu. All right, cool. Okay, nice. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Manu, you're asking me very good questions. Oh my God. Let's move on. Okay, so types of vocabulary to my case. So let's talk about types of vocabulary to master. Okay, guys. So yeah. So um when we think about the writing, okay? Hey, Jujuza. Hey, Jujuzinha. Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Oh, my love. Hey, Jujuzinha. Juju's here. Say hello, Juju. Hello. Hello. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Okay, she's going to stay with me now. Okay, so types of vocabulary. Okay, so academic vocabulary. When it comes to academic vocabulary, for writing specifically, okay, guys, please don't forget the cohesive devices, linking words. Okay, that's something that you have to know. And I always tell my students with linking words, guys, just choose some that you want to use, that you know how to use. Okay, just go ahead and choose some. Okay, and again, specific vocabulary for specific topics, especially in writing. Okay, and with some of my students, we've been talking about technology. That's a topic that it's very, very common. Okay, technology is very common. Health, another one is very common, and the environment also very, very common ones. Okay, and when AI, artificial intelligence, guys, is not IA, it's not intelligent artificial, it's artificial intelligence. AI, AI, AI. Please remember that. Please remember that forever and ever and ever. Something else that will help you a lot is knowing collocations. What are collocations? Collocations are words that go together. Okay, words that go together. For example, I'm just going to give you a simple example: do or make. Do or make. Do you do a mistake or do you make a mistake? You make a mistake. Lots of people say do. If you make this mistake on the day of the test, lower score. Okay. For example, break. Do you take a break? Do you do a break? Do you make a break? You take a break. So simple things like that, okay, guys. So just these words that go together, collocations, something that you need to know if you want a high score on the IELTS test. Okay. I need a 4. Oh, yes. So Manu told me I need 4.5 at least, but I prefer to get a higher score, like 6 or 6.5. Okay. Yeah. So you need a lower score. Yeah. It's very nice. I've been working with lots of students who need 4.5, which would be considered a low score. Okay. But they want a higher score. Yes. And I agree with you. And I even have some students who need to do the general test, but they're choosing to do the academic one and get a higher score. So they have more options. Okay, guys. So if you get a higher score, ooh, so many doors will open. So many doors will open because you have more opportunities if you get a higher score. So I agree with you, Manu. With my students, we always try to aim a little bit higher, unless, of course, you need an 8. So if you need an 8, it's hard to aim higher. 8's already a very high score. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay. And then paraphrasing and synonyms. Okay. Paraphrasing is tricky. Paraphrasing is very, very, very tricky because I always say that people don't know. I'm sure that if you have studied for the IELTS test, someone told you to paraphrase. But do you know how to paraphrase? Paraphrasing can be hard. Paraphrasing can be complicated. All right. So, but how do you paraphrase? What do you have to do to paraphrase? What do you have to learn? Synonyms. And that comes down to vocabulary. Okay. So if you know lots of synonyms, if you know how to say the same thing with different words, if you know that, what's going to happen? You will be able to have a better writing because you have more variety. If you know synonyms, if you know lots of different ways of saying the same thing, what's going to happen? You will improve your reading. 100%, because then you'll be able to look at something and recognize it. All right? Mm-hmm. So just think about that, guys. Just think about that. Okay, so the fact that if you are, and again, it's funny because like vocabulary can help you with everything. Everything, right? So if you improve your vocabulary to have better writing, you will also improve your reading. See how cool that is? How amazing it is. So amazing. Okay, it's so nice. That's why you have to do that. And again, and improving your vocabulary, let's say just like Manu was saying, oh, I just need a 4.5, but I want a higher score. And again, if she keeps improving her English, I don't know what her objective is, what she wants to do. But maybe she'll be able to do well at a job interview just because she improved her vocabulary. Okay? Goody, goody? Okay, now, one more thing. Fabi, I can't remember the words. I know, but I can't remember. What do you do? Revise, 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 revise. If you keep practicing your English, if you keep improving your English, one day you will be able to look at a new word once, think about the meaning, learn the meaning, and use it in the future. But it can be difficult for some people. So the secret is to always revise, 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 revise. Okay, always revise. That's the best thing you can do. Okay, but how? Okay, one thing you can do is to read. Nobody likes reading, I know. If you prefer to listen, you can listen too. So being in contact with new information, different topics, always, always, always. Okay, that's something that it can help you. Also, vocabulary list, vocabulary journal, anything, guys, anything you can do to help you. Okay. So again, I always tell my students you should never add new words to your vocabulary list if you haven't revised the previous ones yet. Because then you have a list of 100 words, but you don't know how to use any of them. So it's a good idea to add, but revise before. Revise, add, revise, add, revise, add. So you're always looking at it. So you're always looking at it. Okay. And to keep, for example, and again, sharing is good too. It's very, very important. Okay. And then one thing you can do is in my course, for example, in the course IELTS with Fabi, in the community, we have a section for new vocabulary. So every time my students, they see a new word, okay, they pop it in there. And then it comes the next thing, right? So let's say you see a new word, write it in your list, okay? So you add it to your list. And then you write a sentence, but you don't know if the sentence is right or wrong. That's when you need some help. And that's what my students do. They add the word, they tell me where they found it, they write the meaning, and then they write a sentence. And I check the sentence, and they're sure they're using it correctly. Okay, so that's it, guys. And again, it's not one thing, it's maybe lots of small things that you do and that you keep improving. Okay. And you keep practicing, 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 and even with my students, when we're practicing speaking and writing, I always talk about relaxed practice and under exam conditions practice. Okay, so in the relaxed practice, they can do some research, they can look at things, okay, and they can improve. Okay. And again, guys, and again, talking to Manu today, we could see that if you have some help, if you have proper feedback from an IELTS expert, you will go to the test with lower anxiety. You know where you are. Okay. So today we're talking about vocabulary. It'd be a good idea to have someone looking at the words for you, looking at the sentences. Hey, Fabi, I got this one. Does it work here? Oh, yes, it does. Oh, no, no, no. You should use this one. Oh, much better. And again, I do feel that when you go together with someone, it saves you time. It saves you time. And again, guys, remember, you don't want the IELTS test. I didn't ask Manu what Manu wants, but you can tell me later. Guys, you don't want the IELTS test. You want to live abroad. You want to study abroad. You want to work abroad. That's what you want. And doing the work now, improving your English now will help you. 100%. 100%. Okay, guys? All right. So if you have any other questions, you can pop the questions in. Okay, if you have any other questions for me. Juju is ready for her breakfast. One second. Okay, guys. So today we talked about vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary and the importance of vocabulary. Okay, when we think about speaking and writing, remember there is a section. Okay, in the how the examiner is going to check your writing. There is a whole section about vocabulary, so they will pay attention to your vocabulary. Okay. Then another thing that you can think about is when it comes to listening and reading, is more about recognizing. Okay, so when you have something that you can see and recognize. Okay, so if you improve vocabulary when you're listening to something or reading something, it'll be easier for you to get the answers correctly. Okay, any questions? Any questions, Instagram? No, I think we got it all. YouTube, how can I improve listening? Well, I have a question, YouTube, from Valeria. How can I improve listening? You can improve your listening through practice. Are you practicing, Valeria? Are you practicing? That's a way to improve. Okay, guys. And again, you start practicing. And after you start practicing, you have to check what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Okay, Valeria? And once you know that, then you can really improve. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing right. Stop doing what you're doing wrong. Okay. That's the best way to improve, but you have to practice and you have to know where you're at. Because, guys, you shouldn't book your test if you don't think you're ready. Okay. You shouldn't be booking the test if you don't think you're ready because I don't want you guys just waste your money. You're practicing. Okay. So, Valeria, if you're practicing a lot, you should know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Okay, guys. So, uh, lots of people who are feeling that they're stuck, they feel they're stuck because they don't know how to improve. And if you don't take the time to analyze your results, see where you are, you will not be able to improve. And that's basically what I do, what my students do every day. Okay, yeah. So, Valeria, you have to know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, Valeria. Okay. Are you studying by yourself or are you doing a course, Valeria? Okay. So, guys, if you're feeling stuck, the best thing you can do is to look for feedback. And again, I always talk about feedback for writing and speaking, okay, which is the most obvious one. But some people also need feedback in reading and listening. Yes, I have lots of students that, like Valeria said, oh, I can't improve. So what do? I go over the results and I say, ha, this is your problem. And then the student goes, oh, really? Okay, do this, trying to improve. And then they improve. Okay. So, Valeria, that's what I think you should do. Analyze your results. Check what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Okay. All right. Any other questions for me? Let me see. I don't think so. Okay, by myself. Yes, Valeria. Maybe it's time for you to get some help, Valeria. Yeah, it's time for you to get some help because an IELTS expert, Valeria, will be able to look at your results and say, you have to improve this, you have to improve that. Okay, that's what I do with my students every week. Okay. All right. Any other questions? No. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna go now, but I'll be back on Thursday, same time. Okay, 5:45 a.m. Brisbane time. Okay, guys. And if you have any other questions, you can always send me a message on Instagram. Okay. All right. Okay. And I'll see you next time. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Bye.